pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Thank everyone for their attendance, and please note the flickering light bulb.
It's part of the late show later.
Part of the late show, all right. All right, let's move on to item 3, entertain a motion for the approval of the 6/17 Village Board meeting minutes and file the 4/24 Joint Library Board, 5/9 Architecture Review Board, 5/28 Public Safety Committee, 5/28 Plan Commission, 6/3 Joint Library Board meeting minutes as presented.
So moved. Second.
Motion is second, as always. Comments, questions, clarifications on the minutes? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. Anybody in the audience wishing to be heard on a non-agenda item? Okay, let's move forward. Any materials have been distributed in the normal fashion. Let's move on to item 6, resolutions, ordinance, action items. Item A is a motion to approve or a motion to adopt the fee schedules by reference. Administrative comments, I'm sorry, let's go on to the actual action item. Is a motion to approve the amendments to section 16.04, 030, 16.08.140, 16.12.140 related to building, electrical, and plumbing permit fees as presented.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Motion is second. Typically, this is an annual type of event, more or less housekeeping, but Jesse, you want to kind of give us a 30-second?
Sure. So our building permit, electrical permit, that particular portion of our fee schedule for those pieces of paper, if you will, actually are adopted through recommendation of the Building Inspectors Association of Southeastern Wisconsin. They work in accord with inspectors throughout southeastern Wisconsin, as well as state committees in crafting these permit fee update recommendations. I myself, as I mentioned in the administrator's comments on the IFC, have worked in several communities that adopt their building permit fee schedules in accord with that group's recommendations year over year. So it is not an uncommon practice, and it helps with uniformity throughout the region as well.
Comments, questions?
I have one question. So it was last revised in 2014, and is that something they do every 4 or 5 years?
No, it's completed annually, but our code has not been updated since 2014.
Okay. And I'm assuming our plan is to kind of stay in conjunction with them going forward?
All right, any other comments, questions? Okay, hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. Item B is an ordinance amending section 1604, 03, and 16.08.140 and 16.112.140 related to building, electrical, and plumbing permit fees. I'm assuming that the implication behind this is to adopt or approve this is by reference. Okay, Jessica, do you want to take that one? I mean, I didn't see you over there. You were talking about, I'm assuming you're here for a reason.
I am here for a reason.
So why don't you go ahead and...
So it was just, as Jesse mentioned, rather than, have the individual building permit fees listed in the ordinance, we would have a schedule of fees that's in the packet, which would be updated annually and updated by reference, rather than having to update the code every year, as we have not done since 2014.
Okay. All right, entertain a motion for that.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Item C, report of the Public Safety Committee, and that's a resolution approving, a motion to approve the purchase of a 2020 Ford Explorer from Ewald Automotive of Waconomowoc in an amount of $35,993 with a delivery date of late 2019.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Motion is second. Comments, questions? Again, this is early delivery, but a 2020 operating expense or capital expense.
Right, and I just want to make sure that it doesn't get accidentally kind of rolled back into 2019. So it is 2020 that we're just having delivery early.
Okay. Motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes. Now let's move on to the Report of Plan Commission. That is a resolution approving Blue Stem subdivision Phase 1, final plat with the following condition. Construct emergency vehicle. Hang on, you gave me a, you want me to use your draft? All right. It's a resolution approving Blue Stem subdivision Phase 1 final plat with the final condition, including a paved turnaround hammerhead at the end of North Teton Trail and a gravel turnarounds at East Omaha Drive, North Omaha Drive, and Cheyenne Avenue. Be approved.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
And Chief, you're okay with that? You've reviewed that, and Jessica, any final? I know that you walked this through with the developer.
Right, so this is for the first 33 lots in the Blue Stem subdivision that's currently under construction right now on the far west side of the development. The preliminary plat was previously approved by the Plan Commission. Now they're coming back for the individual phase final plats. So at the Plan Commission meeting, as we would typically do, we would require turnarounds at some, if not all, of the dead end, or temporary dead ends of these streets. And in speaking with the developer, he was concerned about having paved turnarounds at all of these four streets. And so I spoke with police, fire, and DPW, and we were comfortable with one paved turnaround at the very south end of the development and then gravel turnarounds at the others. And the developer found that acceptable.
Comments, questions? Motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And motion passes. Department and officers reports, Chief's here, Director of Development's here, she's not our planner, just so I came up in the last meeting, other planner, she's our Director of Development. Any questions for them, anything you want to pass back?
I have a question. There was a staff meeting with sewer regarding with sewer PAC last Wednesday, I believe.
Regarding the,
Regarding the Newman development.
yes. So the results of that are that Newman does have to make an application to update the sewer service area. They are in the process of getting that information together in order for us to turn around to sewer PAC as quickly as we get it from them. We do have to act as agent as the municipality.
Thank you. That was from your report. I remember. I had another question as I was going through the planning commission meeting minutes, and Jessica, I know you had made the statement that with the USF expansion, they didn't need to do anything with easements regarding a fire hydrant on the property due to the change in our ordinance that allows for maintenance. Could you refresh my memory in terms of, we changed our ordinance so that private utilities now are not a problem when it comes to maintenance. And that still concerns me. I wonder if you could just kind of refresh my memory.
Okay, it was my understanding from Director Thomas that the new ordinance, specifically relating to fire hydrants, I won't say that it covers other utilities, obviously, but that the ordinance allowed the village the right to go on to private property to use, maintain, repair private water, fire hydrants, and then charge back property owners.
So, okay, so this is in the case of just of fully private utilities that you're talking. See, that's where I have a problem, and I'll talk to Amber about this, because fire hydrants, even though there's a couple of private ones out there, fire hydrants should be public.
Let's get clarification on that one,
I'll-
because I'm not sure that it is, they're fully private. I thought it was access to public fire hydrants on private property, but let's
I'm
get
gonna bring that
clarification
up
on
in
that.
Public Works again, but thank you.
All right, any other comments, questions from staff, board staff?
One very quick thing on the village board's dais this evening. Just you found a small white 3-ring binder. Just simply prepared a quick reference guide of information pieces for the board. Important items that can come up from time to time during the course of different discussions. This is the first go at it, if you will. If there are other items, the board can have an agenda item discuss to see if there's something different that should be placed in there or added, removed, what have you, but just in an effort to create a quick reference guide, in particular, the chart of accounts is there. I know that it had been distributed with one of the update bulletins in the past, but it is here. That way, if as you're paging through, you have a question, we can identify that. The public parking downtown, a quick reference, again, just a quick reference snapshot item for the board. So that's a resource there for the board. It's a living document, not to be cliche, but it can be updated regularly as needed. So.
Thank you.
And if we have any recommendations, we can speak to you about that? Something to add?
Certainly. I mean, what we can do too is we'll get used to having it. If anything else, I can look at a future board agenda, so that way we could have a discussion about it instead of just individual direction. And I think I will look to do that in probably the next couple of months here. Just bring it back as a standalone quick discussion item to see if there's any added additions, subtractions, what have you. So, thank you.
Okay. All right, that being said, let's move on to licenses. Entertain a motion for approval to issue operators licenses as presented.
So moved. Second.
Motion is second. Places of employment are listed. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes. Move on to item 9, reported bills. Entertain a motion for the approval of village expenditures, $751,000, that's $695.40.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Motion is second. As always, comments, questions on the bills?
I have a couple.
Mhm.
On page 1, Reliant Fire Apparatus Incorporated for the refurb of tender 866. Again, that contract was issued to Pierce, so I'm wondering why the check didn't go to Pierce.
Reliant is the sales agent for Pierce, and we contracted with Reliant. So they get the check.
Okay, did they add any additional charges to it, or was it strictly a pass-through?
There were no additional charges, but I'm assuming they have their sale.
Their markup?
Margin in
Okay.
there somehow.
Okay. And then on page 6 of the second batch, I believe, maybe the third batch. For the MasterCard charges, there is almost $850 in reframing of historic photos for the fire department. And I'm wondering why the association isn't paying for that, because they got a $1,500 grant last month from the Country Financial.
I don't know if the question was asked of the association to pay for that. The association, I guess, governs what they wish to donate for or make payments for.
Well, I mean, for $850 in framing pictures, then I'd like a little more detail of what those were and why the taxpayers are paying for it.
Okay, Google history, okay, fair enough. Other questions?
I have a few. So just to talk about what trustee Meineke just said. So it is listed under repairs and maintenance under the fire department.
Okay.
So
Let's do a little digging.
my other comments are, let's see, page 3, the second batch, the gear bag under uniform allowance. So I, of course, would rather have that listed under miscellaneous or equipment. I did ask Paul a question, the next batch, page 1, Ascend Talent Strategies under Police Administration for the new employment evaluation. Jesse, are you aware if we have switched companies for those? I think we used to work with a different company.
Aurora?
No, it was like a HR company. No.
Admittedly, in the vast number of correspondence I receive, I do recall there was a changeover, whether it was simply due to availability or the other company
I think it was
closing or being
Humbert,
purchased.
Milky or something.
Yes, admittedly, I don't recall the specifics of it, but yes, there was, again, I believe we have several options to do this, and this is one of them. But as far as the specifics as to the changeover, I don't have that at my fingertips right now.
Should I try to get that from the chief, or do you want to forward it to the whole board if?
I can ask the question again, just looking for detail,
Okay.
and I can report back to the board, very similar to the framing question.
That'd be great. The next one I have is page 4, under Grafton Mobile. Harley Davidson oil change. So, I understand from finance director, we have a motorcycle. I wasn't aware of that. Does it get taken out at all?
It's primarily used by the reserves. We don't have a specific motorcycle officer
Okay.
on the regular roster, if you will, but I do know the reserves use it.
I think it was all.
And-
It was all.
Yeah, we saw it.
Right.
It's a classic.
It is a
Yeah.
classic,
Yep.
from what I understand. And page 5, the Houseman and Fine bills. Did you already provide us with the line items for that, Jesse?
Yes, I believe I'm up to date with the invoices that come in, being provided to the board. I will verify that, but yes.
And my last one is page 12, under your name. Did you get doubly reimbursed, or was that just something that's,
No, mileage is actually broken out under IRS regulations, in county and out of county.
okay,
So that's why you would see the two payments, if you will. I had submitted my mileage report for the first half of this year.
thank you.
Yeah, just simply an effort to avoid, what I try to do is month by month. However, there were times where my out-of-county mileage resulted in literally a $6 check. And so that way, to avoid those, I'm looking at twice a year, so.
So, can I just get a point of clarification that the in the county miles that you drove and the out of county miles you drove were exactly the same? Because those dollar figures are exactly the same.
That I will have to ask finance about. I know it's broken out between the two, and why they're both the same number, that I don't have an answer for. I will verify with finance.
Up with finance.
Yep.
Okay.
Thanks.
Other questions?
Yes, page 1, section 1, the Jockey Lockup Company. I'm assuming it's a truck payment. It's true for $14,180.
That's trustee Antoine, where are you at?
It's in the first section. First section, page 1. Jockey Lockup. So is that F-250, is that a new truck? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and then there's quite a few in here of these refundable backflow charges, like 4 of those for $437.50.
That would be an excellent question for the utility. I do not know the specifics of how backflow charges work, so that I would have to report back to the board.
I had kind of caught that one too, and I just wonder if it's
There's 4
a,
of them.
if it's a the description may be incorrect, because I've never seen anything like that.
I will check into that and definitely report back, absolutely.
Okay.
And I have one question. It would be on the batch 3, page 15, page 13, I'm sorry. So utility service company, we have a maintenance contract, annual maintenance contract on our water towers. This is for tower number 1. And the amount is only $7,281. We have annual contract maintenance that normally covers just about everything that needs to be done in terms of maintenance to our towers. So I'm wondering, is this an extra expense that was not covered by our annual contract?
Check into that. It may be just only so much space within the description line, and so, yeah, I'll verify that description.
Okay, thank you.
Any questions on the bills?
Mr. President, regarding the photographs that were discussed earlier, there are 12 large photos that the village fire department owned that were extremely large. They're around 5 to 6 feet wide. They belong to the village, the fire department. We have been slowly improving the environment in our training room over the years that the village took over the department, and we're just doing it incrementally. And those of you who've been to the fire department will know there's really very few photos even on the walls because they cost money. So we've been doing step by step, from carpet one year, tables another year, chairs another year, etc. And we're constantly improving the training environment in there. The room gets used by our fire department, other village departments, various county departments. METC gets great use, which is great for our department and the community. And these photos are essentially, we've shrunk down the big 5 and 6 footers because they took up so much room. And we're going to have the one back wall in our training room will be photos dating back to the late 1800s, which is just, incredible. And we've captured photos throughout the years. And it's an awesome display of photos, and it's going to look great. And I waited, this year was photos, and we have more photos coming of antique apparatus. It was part of the community fire department since the late 1800s also. But I have to balance that out through the years when I have money in various
So it's
accounts.
covered in your operating?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. That being said, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
Show one nay. Let's move on to item 10. May entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you all very much.